Today I'm making a copycat recipe of Panera's Asiago cheese bagels. Let me show you how. I have 1.5 cups of warm water here, roughly 105 to 110 degrees if you like to be exact. 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. I always use a fast rise yeast. A tablespoon of sugar or honey. I'm going with honey. And then I just mix that, let it rest for 5-10 minutes just until it gets frothy. Once your yeast is all frothy like this, 1 tablespoon of olive oil and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I will be using bread flour for this recipe, and yes, I do recommend bread flour because it makes a chewier bagel. Starting with 2 cups. Mix everything together. 3rd cup, I'll add half. That was actually a little more than half, but that's okay. Once you have your shaggy dough, flour your mat and flip your dough out. I just dusted the top with a little bit of flour. Now I'm just going to knead this for 5 to 8 minutes until the dough comes together, incorporating flour when the dough gets sticky, and I'll let you know exactly how much flour I end up using. Now that I have a perfect little dough ball here, I used 3.5 cups of flour in total. I just lightly drizzled a little olive oil into a bowl. Covering this up, I'll let it rest for about an hour to an hour and a half. You just want it to double in size. Once doubled, flip out onto your mat. You can make these any size you want. I'm gonna cut this into 6. Taking each section and forming a ball. Since we're going for like a copycat of the Panera Asiago cheese bagel, you're not gonna poke a hole all the way through like a traditional bagel. So this actually is going to be really good for those of you that were struggling forming a bagel. So all we're gonna do is press down in the center and make like a little divot, like so. Normally I would just cover these up at this point with saran wrap and let them rest for about 30 minutes, but I am out of saran wrap. So I'm just going to take a little parchment paper and a clean towel and just cover them up and let them rest for 30 minutes while I get a pot of water started boiling. And while waiting, I'll also grate this block of Asiago cheese. Once the water comes to a boil, I'm just going to drizzle in some honey. I just use cheap honey so I don't waste my good honey in this. You could also use barley malt syrup and a tablespoon of baking soda. This helps with browning. If you don't want to use the baking soda, your kitchen, your rules, but it will help with browning and the texture of the bagel if you do. Boil 30 seconds per side. Once they boil, place them onto a cookie sheet lined with parchment paper. If there's any water in the middle, you can just blot it out with a paper towel. Now that these are boiled, when you touch them, you'll notice that they feel a little tacky, which is perfect because now we're just going to top them with that Asiago cheese and it should just stick right on. My oven is preheated to 425 degrees. I'm gonna place these on the middle rack and I'll let you know how long I bake them for. I just pulled these out of the oven. They baked for 20 minutes, transferring to a cutting board to cool. And these look so good. And here's one up close. Yummy. They look so good. I'm gonna use these for sandwiches. I'm gonna toast them in the morning for a bagel with cream cheese. You can do just about anything. Typically you wanna let these cool, but I'm gonna cut into one so I can show you. And this is how they look on the inside. And I'm just going to taste this one with a little bit of cream cheese. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it right now. These taste better than Panera. These are so good. Let me know if you try it.